Hello, family. Welcome back to the Zamots pod. And this week's episode is sponsored by The Truth. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Zamots podcast, where we focus on
faith,
family,
fitness,
finances, and friendships.
friendships.
Today, we're going to be reading from Hebrews chapter 3, verses 12 and 13. And it reads, "See to it, brothers and sisters, that none of you has a sinful, unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God. But encourage one another daily, as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by sin's deceitfulness." Amen.
Amen.
So today we have 3 questions that we're going to read from our game called Who Are You? And if you're new here, the reason that we do these questions is so you guys can get more insight as to who we are and get an understanding of our perspectives and know a little bit more about our relationship, our family dynamic, our beliefs, things of that nature. And it also gives us the opportunity to get more familiar with each other. 7 years in, we're still learning each other, believe it or not. So, yeah, let's get it. My wife's going to get the first question.
Hey, y'all.
This is my wife.
What are your 3 best qualities?
3 best qualities. I would say my 3 best qualities. Wow. I would say number 1, I'm very encouraging. Number 2, I am aware, or some people say positive, but I just say aware. And number 3, I am loyal. Those are my 3 best qualities. In this moment. That's what I'm thinking about right now. What are your 3 best qualities, sweetheart?
My 3 best qualities are, I would have to say my heart.
Okay, your heart.
I would have to say my my heart and my determination and my inspiration.
I like that.
My ability to inspire others.
I like that.
Yeah.
Those are good. All right, next. Excuse you. Next question, y'all. It says, when faced with something that scares you, do you feel the fear and do it anyway, or do you play it safe?
It depends on the situation. Depending on the situation, I'm always play it safe.
I'm the opposite.
I'm not about to play those games.
Yeah,
if I can play it safe, I play it safe. A lot of times God pushes me to do it anyway. But the question is, if you had it your way, like if I had it my way, I for sure would play it safe. Most of the times I'm put in situations to where I'm not able to play it safe because God is like, okay, deal with that, or like you need to walk into that, or you need to figure that out. But yeah, that answers that. Yeah, if I had a say and it was only about me and I could like dictate what the outcome would be, I would say it would be to play it safe. But because God has called me to grow and I want to grow and I want to be better and better and better and better, I very much so recently, the past years, have been put in situations to where it's like I don't play it safe. Like the old me would have been like, absolutely not.
Right.
Like I know the security if I do this.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been that the past 7 years.
Yeah, growth.
Yeah.
Growth. Ironically, we've been together for 7 years.
Exactly.
So what does that say?
That says a lot. Okay. So when you're faced with something that scares you, do you feel the fear and do it anyway, or do you play it safe?
I feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's they have a quote that goes, "Do the thing you fear and the death of fear is certain."
That's why you want to jump out of planes, swim with alligators.
All of that. So I didn't say swim with alligators.
You did say that. You breathe. I mean, sharks. Sorry.
Sharks, which is probably worse, but in a safe way, as safe as you can be swimming with sharks.
Only because
anything that I'm scared of, I feel like I have to attack head on, because if I don't, then I'm gonna just sit with the fear for the rest of my life. Like, that's average.
But this is my thing that gets me when you say that. You're saying like sit with that fear. It's not like every day on a day-to-day basis you jumping out of a plane. Like, that's a basic common fear. Even people that are adrenaline junkies, like they at some point feared doing that, and because they did it, they're no longer fearful of it. Like, everybody has their like stamina when it comes to, you know, certain like things, like jumping out of planes or swimming in large bodies of water. Like, it's certain things, like that's not something you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So like, that's it's not the point. Okay.
The point is, I don't want to know that I have a fear that I haven't overcame.
But you get what I'm saying?
I do. I get it.
No, let me say it. You're saying that, but the world is so big. There's so many things that you can be fearful of. So just because you're fearful of it, you're just like, oh, I gotta go do it.
Not necessarily. I'm not saying everything.
Some things you're fearful of to protect you from it.
No. I'm not saying everything. Like, not every fear is something that I feel like I have to attack.
But that's your argument.
No, my argument is, I'm just answering the question. When faced with something that scares you, if it's not facing me, then it's not bothering me. But when it's facing me, I have to do it. Like, period. I have to do it. I'm not just.
But when are you gonna be faced with the obstacle to jump out of a plane?
You brought that up. That's not the question.
Because that's the example. I'm just talking about when it comes to fear. When I think about
I just want to do it.
Okay, so what are some things that you fear?
What are some things that I fear?
Yeah.
I fear. My biggest fear is not becoming all that I want
to be a failure. Yes. Okay.
No, not to be a failure. My biggest fear is not becoming all that I was created to be.
Okay.
Just because I don't become. If I were not to become all that I was created to be, that doesn't mean I'm a failure. It means I just missed the mark.
Okay, that's a sweet way to put it.
Exactly. That was one of my qualities that I talked about earlier.
Earlier where?
Earlier in the session when I asked that first question.
Oh, yeah.
I have good recall, you all. Anyway, next question.
No, you don't.
What's the next question, sweetheart?
Knock on wood. It's your turn.
I read the last one.
You're right. I apologize. What is the most adventurous thing you have ever done, and how did you feel afterwards? Oh, wow.
What's the most adventurous thing I've ever done?
I need to look at that word. Where's my
adventurous phone? What's the most adventurous thing I've ever done? I don't know. I haven't really done many adventurous things.
Willing to take risks or to try out new methods, ideas, or experiences.
Yeah, I think running from the cops is probably the most adventurous thing that I've ever done.
When did you run from the cops?
When I was younger. We were at the mall this one time. Any of y'all that are from Gwinnett County, Georgia, the North, as they would say. Yeah, we were running from the cops because there was some tomfoolery going on. I wasn't a part of the tomfoolery. But I just so happened to be in the environment of people that were engaging in tomfoolery behavior. And the cops came and we had to run. But it was a lot of cops. It wasn't like 2 cop cars. It was like they were like surrounded.
What were y'all doing?
Let's be clear. I wasn't doing anything.
Okay, what were they doing?
They were like wilding out. Like, we were at the mall. They were like
stealing,
fighting, like throwing stuff down, like you know, it was wild.
How old were you?
I was probably like 14.
That's wild.
Yeah. But again, it was nothing that I was doing. I just was in the area because it was a huge crowd. It was like my whole middle school. Like everybody from the middle school was there. And it was just a few people that was engaging in some hazardous activity. And because of that,
you wasn't engaging in none of that activity.
No, I was never on none of that. No.
Just surrounded by people.
Yeah, like I was just around. If the cops come, if the cops come, period, we out. Like it doesn't matter. Like if there was something that was done in your area, you could have just been an innocent bystander. If there was something, I'm running. Like it doesn't matter. So I'm out of there. So I was out. So that was the most adventurous thing I've done. I don't think there's been anything. Okay, give your answer.
What was the most adventurous thing you done as your dream?
Came into this world.
Cause you 6 months now.
Yeah, man. What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done, sweetheart?
That's a hard one. Truthfully, it's gonna sound crazy. It's not gonna sound crazy for real. I would have to say whenever I went to a party, one of my friends' parties, and I was just lit. I truthfully don't know how I made it home, but God, I legit, I do not condone drinking and driving. I do not, okay? You live, you learn. I don't know how I made it home. I just remember reversing, and I woke up in the car at like 10 o'clock in the morning. But I remember driving home listening to worship music. I was literally crying my eyes out and singing and worshiping God while I was intoxicated. I do not know.
What a time to do it.
And I was like an hour away from my house. Like, I don't know how I made it home.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I just remember waking up the next morning. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning in my car. I slept in my car. The windows was cracked. My doors was locked. The car was turned off.
That's pretty adventurous.
That has to be the most, because I'm very, like, anybody that knew me back in the day, like when I was like in my partying stage, I never drove. I always had a designated driver. If I knew I was going to be drinking or doing anything, I always had a designated driver. I never drove when I knew that I was going to be drinking. I feared that, because yeah, you could be putting your life at risk, but I really wasn't even thinking about the risk of my life. I was thinking about other people's life. Like, it's somebody's mother or somebody's father. Like, I was really thinking about other people. Like, you get in a crash, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, but that person is without a dad or without a mom or without an aunt or, whatever the case may be. So I would say that was the most adventurous thing I did, was literally like drinking all night and driving home far distance. One thing about me, like, if you tell me that you're hosting an event and the event is over like 30 minutes, 10 times out of 10, I'm not going to be there. Unless somebody else is driving. Or unless it's literally like a significant event, like something with your child or birth or something just like really serious. I would have to say that's like the most adventurous thing I did, because like I woke up and I was like, I don't even truly remember like leaving.
Yeah, that's pretty adventurous. I'm not gonna.
And the thing about it is like at the time I was living my best life, so it's like I had people pull up. That could have drove me home, but I was like, no, I don't want you to drive me home.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with you, so I'm gonna drive myself home.
I'm glad you made it home, sweetheart.
Yeah, me too. So
let's get into the pod, y'all. Hello, family. Welcome back to the Zamots pod. And this week's episode is sponsored by The Truth. And listen, we want to start off by letting everyone know that the foundation of our podcast surrounds the 5 pillars of life. We believe to be the 5 pillars of life, which are faith, family, fitness, finances, and friendships. And these 5 pillars of life are the key areas in our life that we need to prioritize and get right if we want to live a completely fulfilled and, I would say, successful life. Speaking of success, on that subject, I came to the awareness recently, maybe like a year, maybe less than a year ago, that success isn't just about money. Although I never thought it was just about money, but I thought primarily success was about your financial accumulation, right? Your economic status, right? I had that. I had that thought process. I still think money and economics is important, and it is a key contributor to success. But I believe that true success is doing what you were created to do, right? If you use a pencil as a door stopper, right, that pencil is being effective, but it's not truly successful, right? Because it's not doing what it was supposed to do. It was created to write. Okay, if you use a pencil as a doorstop, it may work, but it's not maximizing its potential. Okay, so on that subject, I wanted to ask you, sweetheart, growing up, you know, you come from a different background than I do. So, did you ever have like a thought process of success? I know you may have had the desire to be successful or different from the people that you grew up around.
He doesn't want
But
that.
how did you view success growing up, and how do you view it now? What do you think success is?
So sadly, but I guess like my story is my story. I didn't imagine success.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know what success was. It was more so like I just want to be in a place to where I can take care of myself to be out of the situation that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't have like early childhood, I was saying like like preteen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any goals to where it was like, oh, like I see so and so like this,
Mm-hmm.
so I want to like accomplish this.
Right.
You know, it was never that. I think whenever maybe like 16, 15, 16, whenever I got in high school, is when I was just like, okay, let me set certain goals to where I can just get out of the situation I am. And it pretty much was like, I want to be out of my parents' house.
Right.
Like, that was my goal.
Yeah.
Like, it was no goal to be like, oh, like, I need to start this business to be able to do this, to be able to do that. It wasn't that. Although, like, in the process of that, I was an entrepreneur at the age of 13.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been doing it here since I was 13 years old. So like establishing like that whole entrepreneurship, I couldn't capitalize on that because I didn't even know what that was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that I was being an entrepreneur until recently when it's been talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dang, like at the age of 13, 14, I was doing hair all day, like as much as I could, perfecting that craft, you know, getting paid what I was getting paid. Like that was a big deal. Like I could have, like looking back on that, it's like I could have capitalized on that. I could have made, I could have really like dove into that. But because of my environment and not having that knowledge or not having that example, it kind of dictated what my potential could have been. And then, you know, when I did see a glimpse of like, okay, I can be successful if I play sports, my focus in high school was like, okay, I need to get a scholarship to play volleyball or play basketball or to play track. Like I need to do one of these things to be successful. You know, to me, I looked at it as like that was the easiest way to reach some type of success because I knew that like for me, I didn't want to be in school for 12 plus years in order to gain some success. Like to me, I knew that I didn't have it in me to do that. Like I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So for me, it was like I didn't have that example. I didn't develop that habit of, okay, I see this person successful, so I know I need to do X, Y, and Z. It kind of was like me winging it. And like once I graduated and I went to college and I created debt, I was like, I don't really want to be in college for this. Like I went to school to be an OBGYN because I do love like female health. I do love the female body. Like I love all
So
of
do
those
I.
things. All of that is true, but then when you reach into reality, like I don't really like math.
Right.
I don't really like, chemistry. I don't really I don't really like all of these things. Like I couldn't see myself doing this for free and still be satisfied.
Yeah.
And knowing that I know everything I know to the best of my knowledge. So then it was just like kind of like figuring out like, okay, what is it that really makes me happy? And to me, I feel like whatever my purpose is, I don't mind doing for free. Like it brings me joy. It makes me happy. Whether I get paid for it or not, I know that like I'm satisfied. Like I'm happy. I didn't have that. Like I'm still like to this day figuring out like I know what my purpose is. I know what it is that brings me joy and what makes me happy. But it's not like I I had that example to where it's just like to gauge what success was for me or like growing up to see like what's this. I saw poverty growing up. I saw struggle. I saw hard times. Like I didn't see anyone really like just thriving growing up. Like, and when I say growing up, I mean I didn't start seeing successful people until about 20 years old. I'm 28 now. Like,
environment. I think environment plays a key role in how you view success or what you think about success,
for sure.
or even your desire to have success. You know what I mean? It's funny because there's some people that come from poverty-stricken areas and they really like, because they come from poverty, they have a strong desire to like make a lot of money, right? Or to accumulate a lot of things because they come from nothing. And then you have other people that come from poverty-stricken areas that really they just
content.
They just want to make it out of where they come from and be able to take care of themselves, right? Which sounds like that was kind of the thought process that you had,
At
which
first,
is completely
for sure.
which is completely understandable, right? Like both sides of that coin is understandable because you know your environment has such a heavy influence on you and your thought process and your habits and the things that you do that it can either make you or break you in a way. So just to go back to my second question, like how would you say, if you've thought about it, I don't know if you've thought about it at all, but how would you say you define success now? Like what is success for you? If you had to give a definition for it, what would you say?
That's good.
Success for you?
Before I answer that, I had something to say based off of what you said. I would say like I feel like for me, like coming out of that type of environment, it was a process. So like me, I knew that I needed to get out of the environment to gain any type of success. Like I knew that you can be successful, but if you are still in the environment that tainted you or that is crippling you, you won't truly be successful. You can have the money, you can have the riches, but your mind, your mental state, your generational state, like your true happiness, it's not like it's void. It don't matter. It does not exist. So I knew for me that was step one. Like my step one was to get out of the environment that was poisoning me, to get out of the environment that was hurting me, to get out of the environment that literally was draining everything in me if I wanted to truly be successful, if I really wanted to learn and to grow.
That's good.
So that's just to answer that. But to go back to your question that you asked, I define success now as like what truly makes me happy.
That's
like,
good.
And for me, it's pouring into other females, being an example for other females because it pushes me. Like, it's like, okay, am I selfish for saying that like it pushes me and makes me be better?
Yeah, but we all are. So it's okay.
And it's like, yes, but at the same time, it just gives me something to stay on fire about. You know what I'm saying? Because I have other moms, I have other females that's like looking up to me or that's, just encouraging me. Like I receive so many different just random messages of like, wow, you're doing a good job. Like I admire what you're doing. And like to me, I feel like I downplay it a lot.
You
Like
do.
I just be like, oh, like,
it's not
why are you saying that? Like, why are you doing this, that, and third? It's because like certain people that I have surrounded myself with for so long, like they're not giving me those accolades.
Right.
Like they're not pouring into me in that aspect. It's literally strangers that I've never met that's pouring into me saying like, oh dang, you did this video and it like really made me like get on, you know, what I'm supposed to get on and inspired me, or it did this or it did that. And to me that's like, dang, like okay, like let me continue to do what I'm doing, because even if I'm only reaching 1 or 2 females, like that brings me satisfaction.
I like that.
That makes me feel good because, you know, you hear the statement of what you go through isn't for you. And that's like, for me, that's that. Like, I automatically flow into what I'm doing is literally God driven. I just do it. I do it because I know that, like, I want our family to be straight. I want our kids to be straight. Like, I want our kids to have the best of the best, or I want to be in the best state for myself. So, success for me now is literally just pouring into myself and pouring into others. Like, for me, I'm a giver. So I get more satisfied by putting a smile on somebody else's face or making somebody else feel good. That makes me happy, you know? So that, I would say, like, that to me, that's success.
That's good.
Fulfilling other people, and at the same sense, feeling fulfilled and God blessing me in the sense of, like, your gift will make room for you. Your purpose will make room for you. I don't need the money. Like, I don't want the money. Like, I do it because it truly, like, satisfies me. It fulfills me. Like, it's that fulfillment. Like, that's success for me. What about you?
Yeah, I think just going back to what you said, because you said, you know, a lot of the people that you grew up with, they never give you the props or the accolades that strangers would, so to speak. And it's because, you know, there's a phrase that goes, familiarity breeds content, right? So, I mean, there's multiple Bible stories or Bible characters that, you know, God told them they had to get out of where they were from, right? They had to get out of, you know, they had to get out of the land that they were dwelling in, right? And they had to go, you know, start their journey elsewhere, because the environment that you're in, people are so familiar. It happened to Jesus, right? The town where he grew up, right? The people that knew him, right? They were so familiar with him, or they thought they were so familiar with him, that they couldn't believe that he was who he was, or he was who he came to be, right? Because people think because they knew you that they know you. Don't get it twisted, right? Like, all of us are going through this growth process, right? And we have different experiences in life that mold and shape us and turn us into different people, hopefully for the better. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just I think, and I answered the question about success. For me, success is doing what you were created to do, right? And I believe that if you do what you're created to do, then that is going to bring about all the desires that you have, because the desires that we have, I believe, are God-given, right? We don't, like, I didn't create myself, so I didn't make these desires that I have. Like, these desires are God-given desires. And because you have these desires, God is going to force you to become the person that can do the thing so that you can accumulate the desires or the things that you want, right? Again, the process is be, do, have, right? We see it in the book of Genesis. It's be, do, have, right? So it starts with your being, right? You have to become the person. And then by becoming the person, then you'll be able to do the things that you need to do. And then once you do the things that you'll need to do, you can have everything that you want to have. See, God focuses on who we become. We focus on what we can get. Right? Now, if we take apart our carnal mind, right, and we start to take on the mind of Christ and we operate from the Spirit, then we come into contact with the awareness that, oh, it's more important that I become as opposed to what I accumulate. It's more important that I continue to grow as opposed to continue to accumulate more assets or accumulate more money, right? Like, those are just things. Those are just a physical manifestation of the invisible qualities that I've developed, right? Like my consistency, my discipline, my focus, my relentlessness. Like, all of those things are the most important things, right? The things that you can't see. And the things that you can't see, when you work on those things, then it brings about the things that other people do see, right? The invisible world creates the visible world. Okay, so that being said, did you have anything else that you wanted to add on to that, sweetheart?
I just want to go back to like the statement that you had made about the Bible story where it talks about the Exodus story, basically where it talks about Moses bringing the people out of Israel and them wanting to basically revert back to slavery because that's what they were familiar with. And I would say like me making that conscious decision that I need to get out of the environment that I was in order to see some type of success. Do you not know that I went back to that environment? Oh wow, Papa.
Yeah. On camera.
Right there on your pants. I went back to that environment multiple times because it felt comfortable, because it felt like something that I needed in my life. And every time that I went back, it got worse and worse and worse, and I was sacrificing myself. So if you are somebody that just, is in your head about like letting go certain habits, letting go certain environments or certain things that you're familiar and that you're comfortable with, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Like, you can't grow, you can't heal by holding those things on. And I feel like the biggest thing and the biggest issue that people have is that they say God is going to heal, God is going to work. God has to expose and bring things out before he digs it. Like when God digs something from the root, like when he's bringing something out of you, he's taking something out of you, he starts at the foundation. Like that tree gets complete, he digs it up from the root, pulls it, is no longer in the ground. You know the process of that? Do y'all homework. The process of actually digging a tree from the root, the machinery that it takes to do that. You can't get no shovel or no axe or no regular hose and do that manually. Like, you have to get a machine, something heavy duty in order to do that. And that's the same case when it comes to generational curses, generational things that's been passed on, childhood trauma, like situations that's just like toxic environments with family and friends, or just adult life that you experience on a day-to-day basis. All that stuff matters. Like, it has to be dug from the root. You have to let it go. You have to move from that environment that's literally holding you back and keeping you toxic in order for you to truly be able to like feel fulfilled. I think a lot of the times, like especially with our generation above us or before us in general, people want that success. Most of the time, like you said, like success is equal to money. It has nothing to do with money. Like, it's quite frankly easy to make money, especially in today's society. It's so many ways that you can make money.
That's a fact.
Success is like, what do you feel fulfilled doing? What brings you fulfillment? Like, that's the question that you have to ask. Like, outside of being a mom, being a wife, being a husband, being a brother, a sister, an uncle, aunt, like outside of your roles, something that's just you and you, what brings you fulfillment? Like, that's the question. What fulfills you? That's all I had to say.
Love that. I think it was Helen Keller that had the famous quote, and I'm gonna butcher it because I don't have my iPad and I'm not able to look it up, and it's okay. But she says there's two doors in life that you can walk through. One's marked security, the other one marks adventure. Right? She said if you walk through the door that marks security, you get neither security nor, I think it's security nor freedom or something like that. If you go through the door of adventure, then you can get both, right? So that being said, I think that's how the quote goes. If not, I made that up and it sounds good anyway.
We're going to roll with it.
Listen, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe,
turn on your post notifications so you can be notified every single time that we post.
Yeah, do that right there.
Follow us on all social media accounts.
At SM0OV_.
At Queen QUEEN_Deja, DAJHA. And on TikTok, like for Deja.
That's it. This is our son, Nazir Zain. He's been talking this whole time.
He's making a grand appearance on every episode.
Yeah. Because every time we want to record, he seems to want to wake up. So it's fun. And I'm not able to edit his sound bites out of our videos. So
it's okay. It sounds so cute.
Y'all will be hearing baby all episode, but it's all good.
It's okay.
We love y'all.
He's 6 months.
Appreciate y'all watching.
Bye. Love for your hearts, family. Peace and blessings. Bye.